What's up, Pellet Sword? Welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to talk a little bit about that Barriss Offee story arc in Tales of the Empire. Barriss Offee's story arc in the Clone Wars series is a very compelling narrative that delves into themes of loyalty, disillusionment, and the complexities of morality within the Jedi Order. As a Jedi Padawan, Barriss begins her journey as an idealistic and dedicated student, but as the Clone Wars progress, she undergoes a profound transformation that challenges her beliefs and ultimately leads her down a path of rebellion against the order she once revered. From her introduction in the series, Barriss is portrayed as a talented Jedi, known for her strong connection to the Force and her unwavering commitment to the principles of the Jedi Code. Paired with her master, Luminara Unduli, Barriss embarks on missions across the galaxy, facing the challenges of war while striving to uphold peace and justice. However, as the Clone Wars drag on and the Jedi find themselves increasingly drawn into the conflict as generals and soldiers, Barriss begins to question the righteousness of their actions. Witnessing the devastation caused by the war and the toll it takes on innocent lives, Barriss becomes disillusioned with the Jedi Order's role as warriors rather than peacekeepers. She struggles to reconcile the teachings of the Jedi with the harsh realities of the galaxy in turmoil. Barriss's doubts come to a head when she uncovers evidence of corruption and collusion within the Jedi Order itself. Shocked by the revelation that some of her fellow Jedi are willing to compromise their principles for the sake of victory, Barriss is driven to take drastic action. She orchestrates a series of attacks aimed at exposing the truth and challenging the Jedi's complicity in the war. This betrayal sends shockwaves to the Jedi Order and the Republic as Barriss's actions lead to widespread distrust and division among its members. She is ultimately apprehended and brought to trial before the Jedi Council, where she defiantly presents her case, arguing that her actions were necessary to shake the Order out of its complacency and corruption. Barriss's trial serves as a turning point for the Jedi Order, forcing its members to confront the uncomfortable truths that she has uncovered. Though Barriss is ultimately held accountable for her actions and faces imprisonment, her sacrifice sparks a reckoning with the Order, prompting a re-evaluation of its principles and purpose. In the end, Barriss Offee's story arc in the Clone Wars is a powerful exploration of the complexities of morality and the consequences of blind allegiance. Her journey from loyal Padawan to delusioned rebel highlights the challenges faced by those who seek to navigate the murky waters of war and uphold their principles in a galaxy torn apart by conflict. Barriss Offee returns in a three-part arc in Tales of the Empire. The arc shows us how she is rescued from prison and how she is taken to the Inquisitory program that is headed up by Grand Inquisitor, voiced by the wonderful Jason Isaacs. Barriss Offee was released from her prison cell by the fourth sister, and she knows her by the name of Lynn. It also is implied that they knew each other back in the Jedi Order. We can see that Lynn is watching Barriss, and she is noticing that she is acting more like a Jedi than an actual Inquisitor, because she does take her to the Inquisitory training grounds, and this is where the Grand Inquisitor ends up training her, and at one point she has to prove her worth by fighting another former Jedi to the death. Barriss is not the aggressor in this fight, and the only reason why she force chokes her friend is because he ended up grabbing the only lightsaber in the arena, so she basically did what she had to do. In a scene that would have been absolutely epic, we see Darth Vader walking in to the new group of Inquisitors, These Inquisitors that we see include Marok from the Ahsoka series, the First Brother, who we see in Tales of the Jedi, who Ahsoka defeats, and we also see Lynn and Barriss. Now, what would have been truly epic is if we would have been able to see an interaction between Darth Vader and Barriss Offee, because if you remember back in season 5 of the Clone Wars, it is Anakin Skywalker who actually captures her to take her to trial. So I think this was a little bit of a miss, and it was disappointing that we just see Vader basically walk by them and sit down. As the story arc continues, we see that Lynn is fighting another Jedi, because remember, the Inquisitors are sent out to either do one of two things. They are to defeat any living Jedi after Order 66, and they are to find Force-sensitive children. Barriss does not want Lynn to kill the Jedi, so she ends up defending the Jedi, and here we see that we get another flip-flop from Barriss Offee as she now turns back to the light. Now, she had never really turned to the dark, but she has done quite a bit, and I feel like I do not like this aspect of her arc. It just seems too easy. Continuing into the final arc of the series, we see that Barriss has secluded herself on some type of winter planet. She has made friends with a Force-sensitive child and his parents, and she is basically defending them. Out of nowhere, we get Lynn, who ends up finding them, and the kid and the parents end up running into this tavern or labyrinth that is apparently very, very difficult to navigate. Lynn is trying to get by Barriss. She doesn't really want to fight her, and finally Barriss, after giving the family enough time to get ahead, she allows Lynn to enter the labyrinth. In the end, Lynn ends up getting trapped in the labyrinth and ends up fighting Barriss and ends up stabbing her in the stomach. After a very deep conversation, Barriss ends up convincing Lynn to come back to the light, and after the episode ends, we see Lynn carrying Barriss Offee out of the cave, and she is still alive. Now the question remains, is Barriss Offee dead after the credits roll? So here is what my take on all of this means. After the Bad Batch Season 3 ended, I was convinced that I thought we were going to get a Asajj Ventress and Omega series for the next animation project. But after I saw the end credits of the Bad Batch and we see a grown-up Omega heading off to help the rebellion, I've definitely changed my tune on this. Then after watching Tales of the Empire and seeing them bring back Barriss Offee, I feel like we might be getting a Barriss and Asajj Ventress show. What I was trying to do is figure out, why are we bringing Barriss back to just have her turn back to the light? Yes, I realize that Star Wars is all about redemption arcs, but at some point, can't we have someone actually just stay bad? So the only real reason I can see that they did this little flip-flop here is to have Asajj and Barriss link up once again and possibly have their own show, maybe even starting their own mini Jedi Order with Force-sensitive children that they find. Another thing that Dave Filoni could do is link these two characters back up and bring them into Season 2 of Ahsoka. Now, I think that would be kind of cool because they all have a lot of history together, and technically right now they're all kind of on the same side. Now, if we only get the animation, I would be just fine with that because I do love both of these characters. My biggest issue is I always wanted Barriss to be that Jedi who turned and did not turn back. And unfortunately, they decided to go the other way with this arc. So guys, let me know down in the comments, what did you think about this arc? What do you think about Barriss being alive, possibly? Because I do believe she is. And what do you think about the moving forward into the next animation show? Who do you think it's going to involve? Thank you very much for watching this video. Hit that like button on the way out of here. Subscribe if you're new. And I will see you guys in the next video.